Welcome back, everyone. Today we are actually gonna cover the start of my Les Chess Open 2023 tournament. It was actually a very, very good tournament for me to grow as a chess player. I actually ended up playing so many strong players, and it was really a nice one. And first round, I got a bye because wasn't really feeling good to play the first round. Second round, I faced a zero elo rated opponent. The game wasn't interesting at all. And third round, here I got paired up against Samuel Gonçalves, a returning player to the series. I played him in episode 87, I think, or 89, something like that. In this journey, I got absolutely destroyed. It was a Catalan. I had no idea what I was doing, and he crushed me without much trouble. I'll leave the video up here on some cards or up there somewhere. You'll see it if you want to check it out. And yeah, this was the rematch. Let's see what I could do this time compared to previously. Also, at this point in my chess career, I didn't have a draw or a win against a 2000 rated player, and I kind of always had that kryptonite against those players, like putting them on a pedestal. So yeah, I was really, really looking to change that in this past summer run of tournaments. So let's see how the game started. My opponent started with knight f3 here. I went d5, he went g3, and yeah, I wasn't really sure what he was going for here because normally I always saw him playing the Catalan. Maybe he wanted to transpose to some sort of Catalan setup, but I was like, okay, let's just keep it simple. Knight f6. Of course, after the game that I had against him, I prepared a lot of Catalan lines to not fail miserably again like that. Knight f6. He played bishop g2. I went bishop f5. And this is a system that I like a lot. This is like the reversed London system. And now if he tries to play c4, d4, the positions will be way different because I was able to get my bishop out of the pawn chain before I play e6. So actually, this type of positions I played quite a lot online, and I always find it very pleasant for black. So after bishop f5, my opponent castled, e6, d3, and he's playing in a style of the King's Indian attack, and almost like I prepared for these summer tournaments all along. I prepared to play this with white, so I kind of was, you know, knowledge. I had some knowledge in the plans and setups for both pieces, so I was quite happy with the resulting opening position. Bishop e7 here for it. I played bishop g4. Of course, I'm not gonna make his life easier and just let him take without at least overextending his position. He played f4 here, which definitely surprised me. I wasn't expecting this sort of aggressive move, but his intentions were clear. He really just wanted to go all out and start putting pressure on my king side. I was like, okay, sure, this can't be that big of a deal at the end of the day. I'll play knight d7, and this move targets the knight on h4, and plans to reroute the knight on f6 that can be a little bit vulnerable with this expansion on the king side. So okay, knight d7, he went back, knight f3, and here I went c6, keeping everything solid and protected, and I wasn't feeling too bad about my position. Although, okay, this knight now is looking a bit dumb, but I wasn't too concerned about it. e4 by my opponent, striking in the center immediately. I played queen b6 check, developing the queen with tempo, king h1, and here I took on e4, and I took because I saw this combination of after d takes on e4, and here I played e5. I thought this was a nice move to kind of change the structure and also contest a little bit of his advanced pawns. Of course, if he takes here, this is not really good for him because after knight takes c5, there's a lot of pressure here on this knight, and my pieces will flourish into the position. Rook d8 castles, and this pawn is just isolated, and yeah, it's blockaded and everything. But of course, he's not gonna play a bad move like that. He played h3, which makes a lot of sense. Here my idea was to just take, give up the bishop pair, but okay, I get myself castled, and you know I don't think this bishop is that great with a pawn fixed on e4. And yeah, this whole idea of playing e5 at the moment was to kind of blockade his bishop and not let him just have a great diagonal to pressure. Okay, he played knight d2 here. I played knight a6, developing the knight to the only square it can develop to. He played knight c4, and I just calmly brought the queen back to c7, and honestly I was feeling good about my position. Here my opponent plays b3, which makes sense, trying to develop the bishop to the long diagonal. Here I played rook d8, bringing the rook into the game. He played bishop b2, and here I played bishop f6, and yeah, I was feeling good about my position. The pawn on e5 is a really crucial point to hold down the center and to hold my position, but at the moment it is comfortably protected, and I shouldn't have to worry too much about it. At least that's what I thought. Here my opponent played f5, which, yeah, the computer doesn't like too much. I guess there's no longer that much pressure on e5. Now the pawn will probably be there for the remainder of the game, most likely. But okay, f5 also has plans of starting to create a pawn storm. Here I played bishop e7. Here he played g4, and yeah, I just played b5. I was like, okay, let's start doing some sort of counterattack because I can't just let my opponent, run over my position. He played knight e3, and here I played a bishop g5. Okay, putting the bishop back on that diagonal and trying to exploit the weak dark squares that my opponent created with this pawn chain. Honestly, very balanced game. Computer says it's equal right now, so I think I definitely made a good job in the opening section, and yeah, this was a very balanced game. Here he played rook fd1, and I would say that we weren't so low on the clock, but we were starting to get into the 30-minute range. I would say maybe 40 something minutes. We spent quite some time already in this game. So okay, rook fd1 makes sense. Knight f6 made a lot of sense to me as well, improving my knight. Bishop f1. So yeah, here I went crazy with h5, and yeah, my idea with this move was really to create some chaos on the board and try my best to checkmate him. Honestly, it's as simple as that. I really wanted to attack him because at the end of the day, this king is weak here. So if I can open the h file and maybe put a rook on the h file, maybe I will win the game just like that. Okay, h5. My opponent thought for a while here. I also thought for a while after playing, before playing h5. It was a big decision. My opponent played bishop d3, and here I played knight b4. And I guess, okay, what about bishop a3 now? Weren't you scared of bishop a3? Actually not, because in this position I can play queen a5 and I'm protecting the knight and attacking the bishop. On the other position with the knight on c5, I couldn't really attack the bishop and defend the knight the same way. But yeah, he didn't go for bishop a3. I just want to point out that here my idea was actually to play after g takes on h5, which my opponent didn't play. I had the idea of giving up the bishop for the knight, and after queen takes to take on h5. And yeah, my idea was to get the f4 square for my knight, and maybe in the future play something like, I don't know, maybe f6, maybe g6, king g7, and swing a rook to the h file and to create some imbalance and play knights versus bishops. Although, yeah, the computer hates this decision, already gives like a big advantage for white, something like 0.9. And yeah, my old plan wasn't that good, but my opponent, you know, my opponent kind of respected this h5 move. I guess he got a little bit scared of my idea, or maybe saw something better for black after g takes on h5. Maybe saw something for black that he was like, okay, I don't want to allow this. Uh, yeah, here the computer says no, either knight b4 or bishop f4. But yeah, I was happy that at least I scared him a little bit. He played bishop d3 here. I played knight b4. He played knight g2, and this was a big mistake. It h takes on g4, which is correct, and after h takes on g5 here, I played knight takes on d3, which is good, and my opponent played c takes on d3. And yeah, here the computer loves my position, and it kind of makes sense because I have huge pressure on the dark squares, and these pawns are way, way overextended. This king is super weak, no longer with a light square bishop to help protect it. And at some point, maybe I can play g6, king g7, rook h8, and yeah, this pawn is weak. I guess I also have a weak pawn on c6, but yeah, this is very, very uh, honestly scary for white, if you ask me. And just like that, out of a bad idea from me, originally I had a bad idea, but it kind of just worked out because it was like a really good bluff. And yeah, playing more ambitiously and more attacking chess without fear can pay off even against strong players. But yeah, here apparently my opponent had to take on h5. But yeah, if he didn't do it on the last move, it's hard to blame him for not taking here. But okay, he played knight g2, which allowed this transformation of the position. And after c5 that I played, I was very, very, very happy with my position. And the computer loves it as well, saying something like minus 0.6 already. Okay, we were starting to get lower on the clock by here. Something, I think we were like almost under 20 minutes here, which, I mean, might seem like a lot of time, but in a classical format, I feel like the clock is already ticking with 20 minutes. Okay, he played bishop c1, which makes a lot of sense, trading off my monster bishop on g5. But I played knight h7, which is also a very nice move. I mean, if you are gonna trade bishops, it's gonna be on my terms. And I wanna put the knight on an excellent square here on g5. My opponent said no, changing plans, I don't want to trade it anymore. Knight e3. And here apparently the only move that gives black an advantage is bishop f4, which is kind of crazy. I mean, it's not that crazy if I think about it more deeply. But the whole idea here is to, after knight d5, to sack the exchange here and play knight g5, which, yeah, I didn't see this. I For this game, I wasn't really looking at fancy stuff like sacking the exchange and stuff like that. I was trying to play more modestly, and not go too much crazy, because sometimes I go way too crazy and I regret it. So I just wanted to play some simple chess, and I thought that would be enough to beat my opponent. But played knight f6, trying to counter knight d5. My opponent played knight d5 anyway. I played knight takes on d5. My opponent played bishop takes on g5, and now my knight is hanging. The rook is attacked, but I have f6, which I saw in advance. And if my opponent took here and I took here, I was happy with this position, I guess. It will be very easy to target this pawn, and yeah, just a move like queen d6 next, I can win back this pawn, and still has to make some moves to win this pawn, for example, which is not attacked at the moment. But okay, he didn't go for this. He went back with the bishop to d2, and here I played knight b4, which is a decent move, but better would have been knight f4, which I considered a bit. But yeah, I didn't like this move that much just because it doubled my pawns here. Um, he doubled my pawns, but the thing is that his pawn is super weak. He's not going anywhere. I can easily, put pressure here. I can maybe even sneak my queen to e5, and yeah, it's a tough position to defend for white, honestly. But I thought that what I did was equally good. You know, I doubled my pawns anyways, but I felt like this opening of the c file would be better for me. So these double pawns I thought that were better than these double pawns. Not only because it opens the C file that I can use maybe in the future, but also kind of makes these pawns not move easily. These pawns will be stuck here close to the back rank, which can also be very important in the future for me. But yeah, okay, here we were already in a rapid game territory with less than 10 minutes. It was already getting super intense. I was feeling really, really excited, nervous. I was like, oh my god, will I actually be able to beat uh, this guy in a classical match? Let's see what happened. So here he played rook c1, makes sense. Played queen b6, and here played king g2, bringing the king closer to the center. I played rook c8, and he played queen f2, offering a queen exchange. And here I thought for like a minute or something, and I was like, no, bro. If I trade the queens, this will probably uh, be easy to draw for him. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna trade the queens. No, no, I'm gonna try to keep playing for a win. I don't care if he's high rated. I'm gonna try to play for a win. And I'm very proud of this decision because if it was like a couple months before this game, I would definitely have traded the queens without thinking for a long time, especially with time trouble already arising. But in this game, I was really determined to try my best to win because, I mean, just take a look at the position. If someone is better, it has to be black. No way. Black is not better here. I don't care what the engine says. The engine even says slightly better for white after rook c5, but nah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. But okay. My opponent played rook b1, which I didn't really understand during the game. I was like, what is this guy doing? I played rook c3. He played rook b2, and I played rook d8. And okay, the big idea of rook b1 was to play rook d2 and protect d3. Okay. And yeah, I just was like, oh my god, I have full control over the position. Like, damn, this is amazing. Uh, here I played rook d4, and my opponent played the queen e3, so not allowing any of those tricks. Good move. And here I played queen d7, which, yeah, I don't know. I have to be honest, I didn't really know what I was doing at a certain point of this game. I felt like, okay, my position is absolutely amazing, but what do I do now to crack his position? And while I was here moving my pieces around, my opponent was also intending to start his own counterplay, which I started sensing, and I was like getting a little afraid. So okay, I played queen c6. Yeah, this doesn't make much sense what I'm doing because yeah, I just went from queen b7 to queen d7 to queen c6. Like I'm doing absolutely nothing about my position. I have no idea what to do. I'm starting to panic, and that is a bad sign when you start to panic. Um, yeah, queen c6 here, and my opponent plays g5. And at this point, I was like, oh my god, I really messed up my position. Like all of a sudden, I'm seeing ghosts everywhere. I'm seeing like my opponent will start attacking me, and oh, my king is so weak here. My rooks are here stuck, almost stuck, and I have no pieces around my king, and he's kind of moving his king for into safety. I was like, okay, man, just keep your shit together, literally. I took on g5, it took with the queen, and I said, okay, let's offer the queen trade. I mean, if we trade queens, this has to be at least equal. I don't see myself being worse. Maybe I'm a little bit better, maybe not, because I kind of lost a little bit of coordination and pressure. But okay, my opponent said, no, no, I'm not trading queens. Nope, you're not gonna get that the queen trade that easy for me. And threatening, um, queen e8 check. Very very obvious threat here. I played queen f7, saying, okay, bro, just trade queens. And my opponent played queen g5, and I played queen f6 back again. I'm like, at this point, I'm not thinking about winning anymore. I'm more thinking of not losing. And that's crazy how things switch so fast in a game. My opponent, to my relief, took traded the queens. I was afraid that after queen f7 that my opponent played something like queen f3. I was really afraid of this, of him not trading queens and starting to transfer his rooks to the g file. And honestly, I don't know what I would have done here. Let me just play some random moves, because I'm genuinely curious of how I will deal with the threat. So let's say a5 makes a little bit of sense. Let's say rook g1 here. Like, it's starting to get scary with f6 coming, and the computer says rook d6 makes sense to you know protect the f6 square, also protect this third rank. There's a lot of tricks, and okay, my opponent ended up trading the queens, which I was happy about, and he moved this king to e3. The king is very well placed now here, closer to the center, protecting the e3 pawn, and it's kind of safe here, honestly. And okay, we keep going. I played a5, trying to start moving my majority on the queen side, starting to create a passed pawn, starting to make something happen. You can't really play that passively, and I already screwed up my advantage by playing so passively before. So okay, a5, my pawn played rook g1 check. Of course, I can't go to the h file because I'll get mated. So I have to go king f7, rook h1, and now the counterplay starting to get very crazy. We are getting below, like, I would say 5 minutes. We had less than 5 minutes at this point, I think. I'm pretty sure we were playing a blitz game right now with 30 seconds increment, which, it's very nice for a blitz game. But yeah, okay, he's infiltrating my back rank. Okay, bro, I got the loop ready, and let's go. I'm sorry, I had to make this joke. I mean, fuck. Okay, sorry. I am getting what the fuck, bro? Okay, let me try to compose. I'm gonna keep this in the video. I'm actually not gonna edit this out, but I had to make that joke, bro. Oh my god, get the loop ready, bro. He's going into the back rank. Come on, man. Oh my god. I'm such a child, bro. I'm 24, but I have like 16-year-old humor for sure. So okay, I play four, starting the counterplay on the queen side. He played the rook h7 check, getting in my back rank. Rook e8, king e8, rook b7, and now it starts getting a little scary because he has some mating threats like this, which, yeah, are not really pleasant, but thankfully I still have pressure on the d3 pawn, so we can't really move this rook out of the d file without losing this pawn with check, and I'll certainly be alright there, maybe even better, if I don't get checkmate. But okay, here I took on b3, makes a lot of sense. He took back, and I took the pawn on b3. Here he played the rook takes on b5, and I played rook c7 here. I mean, I was feeling very good about my position because I have a passed pawn, everything is blockaded, like, oh my god. The only bad thing about my position Here is my king. My king is not really well placed on e8, but that can change soon. Here my opponent played rook d5, which, yeah, it's actually a pretty good move, honestly. I didn't think of this at all. I probably wouldn't have played this if I was white, but wow, what a good move, I think. I mean, there's a lot of moves that white can play to stay equal, but yeah, rook d5 seems kind of weird because he ruins his pawn structure and allows me to get closer to the center. So, but the engine approves of this. He played rook a2, trying to get back in my back rank. Like, come on, leave my back rank alone, Samuel. Come on, man. Um, I said nope, bro. No, you're not getting into my back rank again, bro. Um, and I played rook a3. Nice move. Rook b2. I guess if he played the rook here, yeah, I probably can repeat. Honestly, I can just repeat. Then I would be fine with that. But he played rook b2. I played a b3, and he played d4, and he offered me a draw here. And we were like with 1 minute on the clock, or 2 minutes maybe, and I just accepted the draw. I just didn't know, man. I didn't know. I'm better here, but I just wasn't confident enough to keep playing. He was definitely the one defending this position, of course. But yeah, I mean, okay, it was my first draw against the 2000, bro, against Samuel Gonçalves. So yeah, I was very proud of this game. Honestly, I think I played a really good game. Okay, there was some parts where I panicked a little bit, but that's normal. And yeah, overall, I mean, compared to our first game, it was like a total difference. And I played with a lot of energy, played a lot of good moves, and was even fighting for an edge, and for not for an edge, for a win at some point. So yeah, it felt good, and it felt like a really nice way to start the tournament on a positive note. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A bit of a long one, but yeah, this game was very long and very intense. And yeah, stay tuned for the next game, which will also be very long, very intense, and very exciting. So I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.